I have two confessions to make. The first is to admit that I am struggling with this quote. And the second is to admit that I'm also struggling with the pronunciation of Mr. Sebastião Salgado's name. So, for the rest of this episode, I am not going to try to pronounce his name as Sebastião. I will probably just say Mr. Salgado. I'm not ashamed to admit that I'm struggling with this quote. It's a difficult one to analyze, and I will also assume that anybody who reads this quote will interpret it differently, each in their own special way. Mr. Salgado, for those who don't know, was a celebrated photographer who died maybe a month ago, and he was, I think, in his 70s when he died. And the beauty of photography, as I often say, or not so often say, but I like to say, is that you can continue taking photographs and producing absolutely fantastic work until you die. And as long as you are physically and mentally fit, you can continue to produce fantastic work. And as you evolve as a human being, hopefully your photographs will evolve as well. So let's return to the quote. To paraphrase, he said that the moment you acknowledge society or recognize society, you become a better photographer. At first glance, the quote seems rather stupid and rather superficial. But stay with me, and I am going to explore my thoughts as I continue talking, so I might ramble on a bit, but stay with me. The harsh fact is that we live in society. Man is, or humans are, social animals, and without society, we would not be where we are today. Without society, we would not have survived in the early days when our earliest ancestors popped their heads out of whichever hole they popped them out of. There is a song by Simon and Garfunkel, I Am a Rock. I am a rock, I am an island, go the lyrics. And I remember when I was about 17 or maybe 18 years old, when I was going through my own growing pains. And when I speak of growing pains, I'm not speaking about me becoming fatter. I was very thin those days. My growing pains as a human being. So when I was going through my own personal struggles at that time, I fancied myself as this rock and as this island. And I declared to myself that I did not need people. And I changed my perception and my belief a few years later, realizing that it was impossible to live without people. On the other hand, if you have read the poem For Whom the Bell Tolls by John Donne, you might recall these lines. No man is an island, entire of itself. And then John Donne continues to say, or write, each man's death diminishes me, for I am involved in mankind. Too often we forget this very simple fact. Every person's death diminishes us. Now these days, hatred rules the world, and it burns with a fierce flame. In India, the madmen of Hindutva want to exterminate Muslims, but they don't have the courage to do so. Benjamin Netanyahu and his team of absolutely sick people and sick society are committing genocide with the active encouragement and complicity of Western leaders. Many people these days like to compare the ongoing genocide with the Holocaust, and I think there's a difference. Number one, the Holocaust was not live streamed. The genocide in Gaza is being live streamed. The Western leaders, or those days the Western leaders ruled the world, they rose up against Nazi Germany for whatever reason, but one reason was the Holocaust that was taking place. But today they are actively involved in helping to exterminate or try to exterminate the Palestinians. The mad people in India support Israel because their hate for Muslims blinds them. Common folk in the West are rising against the genocide and rising against their leaders because somewhere deep down, I presume, they understand that the survival of Palestinians is a vital part of our humanity. And I believe that they are convinced that if the Palestinians continue to die, then their humanity will also diminish. They are involved in humanity in a way that I am ashamed to say in India we are not. So if you deny our collective humanity, then you cannot be a complete person. And I am absolutely convinced that this is a truism we cannot ignore and we must not ignore. And if you wish to live in society, and if you subtract people from your world, you subtract their contributions to the growth of the human culture. You subtract their music, you subtract their literature, their food, their music, their belief systems, their architecture. Subtraction takes away. It doesn't add, it doesn't multiply. So if you subtract people from your life and if you subtract their influence, aren't you diminished? And if you are a creative person, and if you remove people who are different from you, then you will lose a huge body of human wisdom. You will not become a better person. I believe you'll become an inferior person. We can't be islands. So let's do a thought experiment. Someone in India asked the question, if we eliminate all the Muslims, then the Brahmins might actually go after the Dalits. And if they eliminate all the Dalits, will they go after the Shudras, the Vaishyas, the Kshatriyas? And if they eliminate the Shudras, the Vaishyas, the Kshatriyas, will the Brahmins then subdivide themselves into subcastes and fight amongst themselves? But imagine a world populated only by Brahmins. That would be a very boring world. A very boring world indeed. Diversity and the spread of humanity and the cumulative impact of humans enriches all of us. And I fail to understand why we don't understand this. So, if you live in a world where there are only people like you will shrivel and die away. Humanity will die and so will you. So as John Donne wrote in the concluding lines of his poem, therefore, send not to know for whom the bell tolls. It tolls for thee. Don't forget this. Never forget this. The bells they toll for you. They toll for me. The bells toll for all of us. Don't forget this. Acknowledge that we live in society. Acknowledge that we live in a world of diverse people. Acknowledge and celebrate their culture. Acknowledge and celebrate their achievements. Acknowledge and celebrate everything that they have done to contribute to the growth of humanity. And then go out and create. The bells, they do toll for all of us. For you, for me, for humanity, for the planet. That's it from me this time, and see you next time. Comment, share the conversation, join the conversation, spread the word if you like what I have just said, and see you next time. Rajiv Chopra from the Dusty Mic Chronicles, signing off for now. And as the Italians, I presume, say, ciao.